Whoa! That was smoking. That was pretty awesome. Hey everybody, how's it going? I've got a brand new music video reaction / review coming at you today, and this one is for Dangerous by Royal Pirates. Definitely one of my favorite groups. They have more of a rock pop sound, which is something that really appeals to me, so let's check out this new music video. Here we go. Digging this beat right away.
Baby, you're so dangerous. You're so dangerous. You are. Baby, you're so dangerous.
I feel like the vocals are a little bit out front and exposed over the backing track.
So tell me.
Interesting little chord progression there. They really filled out the sound of the chorus too, I like that. Cool filtered out guitar sound. Wait, somebody else is playing guitar. You guys should have called me.
You're so dangerous.
I totally do it for free.
Baby, you're so dangerous. You're so dangerous. You are. So tell me.
I like that synth bass tone they're getting to. It's kind of bizarre. It almost like doesn't fit. Gives like an uncomfortable kind of feeling, which I think they were going for in this song. The whole thing's a little bit like unstable and on edge. One thing I'll say about Royal Pirates, they know how to write a bridge. I have high hopes for this one.
So tell me.
Was James playing sampled slap bass? I think he was. That's awesome. There's some really good sampled bass synths, so he could almost get like a real bass sound playing a keyboard. That's awesome. I love that he's figuring out different ways to play. It's so cool. Turned into a late 70s like jam rock band. Whoa! That was smoking. That was pretty awesome. I like that a lot. I just really like the sound they get, and they have a lot of different sounds. Like, they don't stick to one thing, but every sort of overall band sound that they come up with, I mean, yeah, it has some shared elements, like the vocals are usually kind of similar, you know, same singer, it makes sense. You know, the production, they have some similar elements with that. But every different sound they go to, I just like the overall sound that they get. Just like I like their songwriting. I just really relate to it. I think it's really great stuff, high quality stuff. The production on this song was a little bit rough. That may have been on purpose, you know, aesthetically to give it kind of that grungy, like, garage band or late 70s like jam rock metal band kind of sound. They definitely took the song for like a much heavier turn towards the end, which I thought was really, really cool. But again, it just definitely wasn't like a really polished mix and master. And I'm not sure if I was a giant fan of that. I mean, I do understand if that's what they were going for, why they were going for that. You know, they were trying to get all that edge and kind of like fury and frustration kind of a sound out. But part of me also wishes that they would have polished it up a little bit more, made it a little bit more huge sounding. I know that's a really vague term for describing audio, but that's the term I'm going with. Just, you know, make everything a little bit more impactful. And you can still keep the aggressiveness if you do that, but just get everything a little bit more in its place. You know, all the puzzle pieces are kind of massaged together a little bit nicer. I think it might have increased the overall quality and impact of the song a little bit. But the songwriting and the performance, everything was so good, I can't really complain. You know, that was a stylistic choice that they went for. You know, they gave it a try. I can't criticize them for that. So anyway, let's jump back into the song. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. I'll try to kind of rapid fire point out some of these things because there's a lot more like rock production tricks in this that I don't always get to talk about as much on these videos because I'm mostly covering like pop and dance music. So I'll try to point those out. You might hear a couple new things, so try to keep up. All right, here we go. It's like an EQ filtered out guitar. You hear that a lot in rock music. It's really effective. It sounds like it's kind of band limited where they're filtering out kind of some of the highs and the lows, giving it a really narrow frequency window to play in.
Baby, you're so dangerous.
Yeah, the thing I pointed out about the vocals being out a little bit from the mix, that's a production thing that I will criticize a little bit. They sound a little detached from the rest of the song. Maybe could have brought them down in volume a little bit, brought something else up so it sounded a little more cohesive. But the chorus, there's no problem with that. It straightens itself out in the chorus.
Oh baby, your love's tearing me apart. Got to know your poker face.
The other thing, there's entire mix sounds pretty dry. There's minimal like time bass effects that I'm hearing. I mean, they're there, but they're very quiet compared to a lot of pop stuff. Especially on the vocals, there's not a lot of reverb and delays compared to what we usually kind of hear. Here he's got a vocal filter, EQ filter on his voice. Same concept as what they're doing to the guitar there too. So you got two different things being filtered out and sounding like it's on a cheap radio or something. That's the kind of effect that EQ filtering gives you.
You're so dangerous. You're so dangerous.
And again here, the lead vocal pokes out a little bit far. Like it's detached from the rest of the song.
You're so dangerous. You are.
But a cool chord progression leading up. Notice how much more full the guitar tone and the distortion is in the chorus on all those little chords. Because they took the filter off of it, basically. You're getting the more full frequency response from the guitar. And I think they changed the tone a little bit for this part too. It does sound doubled and layered, maybe double doubles, so quad track maybe. It sounds pretty thick for a low gain kind of distortion sound. Now here you got a little bit of filtering going on in the drums. Remember how they frequency limited them? Just like they did with the guitars and vocals?
So tell me.
Yeah, I heard some like slap bass coming from the left speaker. Wonder how they did that, that's pretty cool. You notice James's synth tone sounds very much like a bass playing, which is really cool too. Interestingly enough though, there's not a lot of really low end in his bass sound, which is something that a lot of like contemporary rock styles do to make the bass really cut through. But it's kind of an interesting choice for this song because there isn't a huge amount of like sub low end. Check out what they do here. Change up the drum part. This is just awesome. completely took a turn that nobody expected right there at the end. Complete change of tempo, really smooth execution of it. I really, really like the songwriting going on there. So production-wise, what you can kind of take away from this, really cool sort of rock and roll tricks put into a pop song. You know, the vocals were very dry compared to a lot of different kinds of pop, but the production, you know, the compression and the EQ generally sounded pretty similar to pop. But the one cool thing that they did, they filtered pretty much every single instrument at one point or another. The bass sounds like it's either a synth part or a sample that just doesn't have a lot of low frequency content compared to a lot of bass tones, or they may have filtered out the low end and distorted the high end. That's something that happens a lot in rock music to make the bass kind of cut through more. They filtered out the drums and made it sound like they were playing on a crappy little like one speaker mono radio kind of thing, like a handheld radio. They filtered out the vocals at one point. They filtered out the guitars for a lot of the stuff, like in the verses and the intro and everything else. You had that kind of fuzzy, like dirty, grungy distortion on the guitars. Not super high gain, but a lot of dirt and fuzz on the sound. That's kind of what like a guitar player would call it, like myself. Or another term would be like overdrive. It's got a lot of overdrive on the signal. You know, you're chopping off those waveforms and distorting them pretty hard. And then, of course, to kind of keep that sound in check, they filtered out especially the low end, and it sounded like they kind of gave it a narrow frequency boost where it was mostly coming through, because usually when you distort a guitar in that way, and I've done it quite a few times, the low end gets extremely boomy and muddy and it just doesn't sound good. So the trick they used, which really worked for this song, is to kind of cut all of that low end boominess just completely out of the signal with an EQ. So all we're hearing is kind of that fuzzy distortion sound, and that's kind of the characteristic sound that guitar gives, and it sets the tone for this entire song. So anyway, another really awesome release from Royal Pirates. I really enjoyed it. I'll say it again, I'm so glad that James is back. He's getting healthy, he's playing music again. It's just a great thing to see after what happened to him. And I'm going to jam out to this after I film this video. I'm going to grab my guitar, plug into an amp, and just play along with it because it's a really fun song. I got to learn it, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to learn. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this reaction/review. So please like, comment, and subscribe. If you could share this video all over the place, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, forums, all that stuff really helps me out. I'll see you guys next time.